have like a jiggy? I'm excited to be with Darren Rogan. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Darren Rogan.
He has podcast experience.
Yes, I've done a podcast. So I am the CEO of proRoute, which is a last mile optimization software for delivery companies. And I'm also the entrepreneur in residence for the iLab accelerator.
What does iLab?
So iLab has been around for quite some time. It's one of the longest accelerators here in Queensland. It was funded by the state government. It's now fully sort of over to UQ. We got a booth down there and we're pitching later on today. I'm going to be on stage if you're here. We're pitching from 3 o'clock and I'll be one of the last pitches on today. So we help early stage companies start new ideas. There's funding and an intensive 3-month program. So it's open. The next intake will be open pretty soon for people involved with UQ. We run it. We're on campus. So we just finished the program. It was 3 months. We had 7 teams go through,
yes.
Including biotech, visual aids for the blind, safety, as well as some marketplaces. So yeah.
That's awesome. Can I noticed you have a slight accent as well. So you're not originally from Australia, were you?
No, these beautiful dulcet tones are not local. I'm originally from Northern Ireland, and then I moved over to England, and then I was working in England for a while and met my beautiful wife.
And she's Australian?
She's Australian, she's a local girl, she's from Brisbane, and she just said, you know, I was going to go to Gibraltar actually. Gibraltar's like a banking place that's sort of owned by the UK, south of Spain. And she was like, if you want to go somewhere hot, then let's go to Brisbane. And I said, oh, we'll see what it's like. And that was 11 years ago. So
what is it about Brisbane that you love so much?
So a couple of things about Brisbane. One, I think the weather is just spectacular, apart from yesterday with the cyclone.
But that's unusual.
It's completely unusual, like, don't get me wrong. But I think the summer's slightly too hot for me because I'm Irish. But I get 6 months of just fantastic weather, and I like to go outside to the beach and so forth. So from a climate perspective, I think this is the best place in the world. A lifestyle choice. It's fantastic. The food, the people. It's just a great place to live, and it's I have a couple of young kids. It's a fantastic place to bring up children. But it's saying that, like, it is still a great place. I'm involved with accelerators. There's lots of great companies coming out.
That's what I wanted to ask. It's like from your startup point of view and your user experience with being an innovator and a coder and everything like that.
Yeah.
What do you think of Brisbane so far?
Well, like Brisbane...
You've seen it from growing as well for 10 years.
So if we go back like 6 years ago, the startup scene was a bit dead, to be honest. There wasn't really much going on. We had like Silicon Beach. And then we sort of went through this phase, and it's continuing to increase in pace. I remember Steve opening up River City Labs, going in when it was just, there was nothing there. And then sort of that's continued to grow over time, and iLab was the only accelerator in town, and that was the reboot of the iLab.
Can I ask, like, the startups that started over 6 years ago, where are they now?
Some of them have sort of either been sold or moved on. Like, the reality is that some of these businesses have not necessarily become the next Uber, but that doesn't mean they have not been successful. You know, like there are different definitions of success.
I think unicorns are unicorns for a reason.
But those unicorns didn't start out saying, I'm going to be a unicorn, right? So people who are chasing unicorns are wasting their time. What you want to do is you build a business that you think is a high-scale engine, and then it can become a unicorn. Like Airbnb and everything talks about it, but the reality was they just wanted to make a bit of extra coin to start with, and they fell into it. So most of the very successful startups, they've actually come up with something that's been a bit of a pain point or some way to make a bit extra money, and they've really fallen onto the idea, and they find that there's a real demand in the market, and then they've moved that way.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, I've been involved in quite a few startups here in Brisbane. Some of them doing spectacularly well. So Start to 60, for example, is a media company. They're doing great. I was involved with Mindstart, which is a mental health company. They're doing some great things as well. And yeah, the current crop of startups have got a lot of serious problems being attacked here. So they're not just throwaway little apps, although some of them do use mobile apps, but they're actually solving real business problems. So I think it's the big thing that we're trying to teach people is to focus on real problems.
So like the key takeaway is focus on solving real problems, pain points.
Real pain points. You know, there are investors here, and you can get investment, and there's plenty of investors here in the room today, but a lot of them are looking for something a little bit more tangible. So it's not Silicon Valley. People aren't going to give you money just for a nice looking app, generally. It needs to be having some sort of customers and more business focused. I'm not saying you can't do a consumer app, but it's just not as easy to get that capital. You need to be a little bit further along, but there are still people who are willing to invest. Like, I personally raised money here in Brisbane before and plan to again, so I wouldn't say that's not possible. And there's some great VC firms here and some over from the US as well, so it's a great event.
it seems like Brisbane is the place to be. It has the resources, the networks, the talent here as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the talent. Like there are some great universities here at QUT and UQ. They're generating a large number of high quality staff. And then you get programs like Startup Catalyst, which I don't know if you've spoken about through River City Labs, where we send like 20 entrepreneurs. Aaron Burke, we've probably been on for. So 2 of my co-founders went through the Startup Catalyst program. So they're working with me in the startup at this time, and that's a great opportunity to broaden those. But just the universities are generating some great talent. So
just stay in Brisbane. Come to Brisbane.
Like
the government is giving you resources and money to relocate.
You should just come here. Like it's a great place to live. It's actually pretty close, especially if you're looking for Asian markets. They're in the same time zone. This is a great place to go, and there are direct flights to San Francisco if you want to be going to San Francisco. So all in all, I think it's a fantastic place.
And he's a massive advocate for Brisbane.
I am, but one thing I would say is I don't have a heater in my house. I have aircon. I used to never have aircon.
You have to have a aircon to survive here.
It's a bit hot, but it's nice with a nice cold beer. But I think the atmosphere's here, and everyone's very interested in helping each other. So there's a really good community and a great culture within the startup scene. Like I'm involved with one accelerator. We were going to each other's demo days. I did sessions for them. They do sessions for us. So we're all really trying to help each other and help everyone grow.
Thank you so much for having a conversation with me.